The matter is going to start in 5 seconds. Start. Mr. Chairman, sir, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to participate in the discussion on the appropriation bill relating to the supplementary demands for grants for the year 2013-14 presented in this House by the Honorable Finance Minister. Sir, being an appropriation bill, there is no other alternative but to give consent to the bill because the government has already made the expenditure and so the parliament has to give sanction as a procedure. The finance minister seeks the permission of this house for the ratification of the expenditure in various departments. At the same time, it is really good to see that every expenditure and income is accounted for by the parliament. This is really very good as far as our system is concerned, but this is also an occasion provided to members of parliament to assess the functioning of the government, which is really related to the policy measures and their implementation. The House has recently discussed the very serious economic situation prevailing in the country. In fact, the Prime Minister himself has admitted that the situation is serious and he said that we can overcome the situation. I do not like to disagree with the Prime Minister, but at the same time, what measures the government would take to overcome the situation is the most important thing. Sir, Indian economy is witnessing a slowdown of economic growth, widening of the current account deficit and depreciation of currency. In addition to it, there is high inflation and lack of employment opportunities. After 2008, this is the first time that the growth rate has declined to 4.4%. In 2012-13, it was 5.4%. This slowdown is due to the poor performance of various sectors. Out of 8 sectors, 7 sectors witnessed contradiction in growth and lower rate of expansion. Out of these 8 sectors, only the community and social service sector has shown a significant growth. Insurance and business services showed lower growth rate compared to last year. Construction and mining have shown a very severe decline compared to last year. In the field of electric gas and water supply, the growth rate is lower at 3.7% compared to 6.2% last year. Even the service sector is showing a fast declining trend. All these factors have contributed the lower growth rate that our country has witnessed since 2008. Since 1991, India has been promoting and strengthening neoliberal economic policy for better growth rate and to reduce the current account policy deficit in our country. In 1991, the current account deficit was 2.5% of GDP, but now it has risen to 4.8%. The government has now opened our economy to foreign direct investment, foreign institutional investment, and removed all caps. Now, a new legislation has come before this House through which the government wants to invite more foreign investment. Sir, taking into account all human indices, our position is not at all satisfactory compared to other South Asian countries. With regard to malnutrition and underweight children, our position is the least among these countries. In the fields of education and health, we are far below to many of the South Asian countries. Sir, a democratic government should give welfare to the people of the country, especially to the poorer sections. According to the UN report, 53% of the assets of our country is controlled by 10% of the super rich, and 10% of the poor people have only 0.2% of the assets of our country. It is very clear that the contribution and outcome of the neoliberal economic policy is pro-rich, and for the super-rich section of our society. Another report states that in 2004, the number of billionaires in our country was 9, and in 2012-13 it has risen to 62. But at the same time, 73% of the people of our country still live on a meager amount of rupees 20 per day. An honorable member from the Treasury Bill benches said that India is shining, but I would like to say that the shining is there only in the corporate sector and not among the poor people. It is shocking to see that according to the Planning Commission, earlier a person who gets rupees 26 in rural area and rupees 32 in urban area was considered in the above poverty line category. Now they have raised the limit to rupees 45 in the rural area and rupees 55 in the urban area. The purchasing power of the people is declining. All these factors have contributed the lower growth rate. Sir, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Sir, at the very outset, I would like to congratulate the Honorable Minister for bringing such a commendable piece of legislation before this August House. I wish to make 2 or 3 important suggestions. Through this legislation, we have now restricted the lease period. Instead of 30, it is now 3, and that is well and good. But I strongly suggest that the lease agreement hereafter should be strictly in accordance with the market rate. That is my first suggestion. Second, there must be a provision for a full-time secretary for the Central Waqf Board, preferably a Muslim. Third, once we fix the responsibility for encroachment on an individual or an institution, there must be a provision in the bill for levying compensation on such encroachers. There should be an absolute provision for that. The status of the secretary of the Central Waqf Board should be that of the Joint Secretary in the Government of India. Sir, in this bill, there is another handicap. Now, the lease agreement will have to be forwarded by the State Waqf Board to the state government. This is an encroachment of the right of the State Waqf Board. Full stop.